Well, folks, top of a very fine Saturday to you. I don't know whether or not you've caught up with last night's show yet. If you did, you're one of the lucky ones, particularly on this channel, as it has been apparently removed. UTurd have decided there has been a breach of their medical misinformation community guidelines. Unfortunately, it is the UTurd guidelines that are in fact wrong. Nothing we spoke about in that show is out of line with currently government feeling. But at any rate, you won't see it on UTurd. You will see it on those other platforms, which I'm not allowed to mention, on this platform, because, well, they don't like promoting anybody else. So those uncensored platforms, if you want to pop over to there, my Facebook, there is that other one that is rumbling around in the background that you can always go and check out if you missed out on last night's show. Very good show with Trevor the Prepper, and had a lot of feedback this morning from it already, so looking forward to getting more from Trev, and we have plans, so all goes well. G'day Brett, g'day Macca, and Mr. Grace. I got your, I was going to say email this morning. It was a very long text. I was going to give you a call, so I hope you're going all right, buddy. Merry Christmas to you. The lovely Michelle. I trust things go well down your part of Victoria as well. Dusty, got to send you an email and catch up. We can do that over this weekend, or early in the new week. If you're floating around, I'll dig your email out now and do that as soon as I can. Did I say hello to Brett before? Maybe not. And hello, Gay. I hope things are well in Oklahoma. Beautiful part of the world. I've been looking at images. I've never been to Oklahoma. I would love to go to Oklahoma, but yeah, some beautiful images. It'll be a bit cold, I imagine, right about now. Maybe you've got snow. Every chance, I suspect. Every chance. Reagan, yeah, it was a great chat with Trevor. He's I've known about Trevor for quite some time, but I only met him when I went down to Victoria recently for the My Place camp out, and he put on a demonstration there, gave people some skills, and they were really not skills that you would automatically think of as a prepper skill, but once you're taught it, you think, well, yeah, why wouldn't you know that? But little things like how do you find fresh water, or how do you make older water, staler water fresh? Is there a safe way to drink it? Can you do something to it? If you need to weave something, say a basket or a hammock or something you can carry or drag somebody along with, how do you weave that? How do you make something like that? And some really interesting other little bits and pieces, like how do you evade heat-seeking or heat-sensitive equipment, like thermal sights and all that sort of thing. He had the kids going with a game of hide and seek, where the kids went and hid, and the parents did the seeking with a thermal scope. At any rate, that was just over the course of an hour in the evening, and it was well dark by the time Trevor actually got going. So, very interesting chat. So we'll see more of him, and he has a lot more ideas that he'd like to share with us, both here on Voice of Freedom and over on the FBN network as well. So looking forward to things coming along there. Hookstar, I hope you're doing all right, bud. Other than that, today is a day of seeing how much this hand and wrist are up to. I've got to move a few things around in a container. I've got to... it's been difficult to do anything in the bus with this broken wrist, and I have a pile of wallaby first aid, if you like, or at least animal first aid stuff here that is... I really haven't been able to do anything with it because one-handed it's very difficult. So that pile is huge. Thank you, Sandy, and others. who sent me through so much stuff for Joey, the little wallaby, Josie. We are keeping all of this, or not all of it. We are sharing some of it back to the wildlife carers that we're working through, and we will have more animals coming to this property in the not too distant future. I don't think they're going to be as small as Josie was, and we will probably start off with possums. Believe it or not, there are a lot of possums that are picked up when they are very young, still inside the mother's pouch. Mother may have been hit by a car or whatever. Those possums have never lived outside. They've only ever lived in a little pouch hanging on a chair somewhere, and then when they get to a certain size, they'll progress to a cage, but have never actually lived outdoors anywhere. So they need to become acclimatized, and we're planning on putting together a facility that might help with that around here. It'll be a safe facility for them, where nothing can get into their enclosure, so to speak. They won't be able to get out, but their enclosure will be in a bushland setting, so that they can get used to the noises, the sounds, and the sights of what's happening in the bush before they are relocated, somewhere around here, and go off to live their lives. So that's one of the plans. We've also got a lot of eastern grey kangaroos that need looking after and rehabilitating, able to move around on land where it's safe for them to. They're not going to be run over by cars, too many roads, all that kind of thing. So we have a few acres here, and it backs onto national park areas, so there's plenty of area for those sorts of kangaroos for rehabilitation purposes as well, and wallabies and all sorts of different bits and pieces. So it really will be a beautiful little piece of animal paradise eventually, which you will be able to come and visit and play a role in if you so desire. If you want to come and stay, you can be part of the team that helps look after the animals, or you can simply come for the day and enjoy the animals. There will be a few other things that we've got planned out here eventually, and over the course of 2025, I'm sure some of that will be rolled out. I'm not sure exactly how much, but it'll be interesting to see what the community here can put together. I keep saying I'm not part of this community, really. I haven't bought any land here or anything. I'm ostensibly a guest of Cass's on one of her blocks, and very happy to play whatever role I can to help achieve the community's goals. And they've certainly got some pretty lofty goals, so I'm really hoping that they do push forward with those, and I'll do everything I can to help see them through. Victoria has halted the culling of the roos. How big of them? Well, God knows how many of them have been roasted in the Grampians, and the fires in the Gippsland area, and the ones, I think, in the Macedon area, where there are fires up that way. So it's been pretty hectic over Christmas with fires, particularly in the Grampians area. I know that area particularly well. I believe now it's many parts of that are back down to a watch and act scenario. It doesn't mean the fire is over by a long way. It just means that it's in terrain that is inaccessible, or it's not going to do any damage if it does burn through there, and probably do the land a bit of good if it does. So I grew up around that area, and bushfires in the Grampians were always a thing of life. However, there also was a thing called burning off back in my day, where that also happened in the Grampians parks, and that doesn't happen anymore. I don't think the Victorian state government has issued burning off permits to anybody, and God knows how long, or if they are doing it now, there was a period of time where they didn't. Like most state governments or most bureaucracies, they have no concept. Our property, thankfully, is pretty clean, but there are reasons for that. There are other properties or other areas, and I will use the army base as a great example of it, where there is leaf litter in there that is very deep, very thick, very dry, although not at the moment. Everything is sodden still. thankfully. At the moment, it is starting to dry out. But at the appropriate time, when that is dry, tinder dry, just think of all that shit that's fallen from the sky, all that aluminium and associated other crap that has fallen on those lands, on all the hinterlands of the Gold Coast, the Sunshine Coast, in fact, the entire Great Dividing Range. Now, we haven't had burning off, we haven't had, the ability to clean up that mess in so many years because of one reason or another. Local councils don't issue fire permits, it's sacred land, nobody can walk on there. I don't know that that's actually played a large role, I'll be honest. It's more to do with greenies and all that kind of thing, saying, oh no, look at the smoke, look at the smoke, look at the smoke. It's a necessary part of the Australian landscape, and the Aboriginals and their ancestors we have evidence of it dating back thousands of years, where this is how the land rejuvenates, and we don't have to look back thousands of years to see it. We have only got to look back a handful of years after a fire has gone through somewhere to see all the new life that's sprung in those areas. And I've driven through quite a few of them. And I guess, by the sounds of it, I'm going to be driving through a few more when I get back down to Victoria and over that way. In fact, Trevor the Prepper, whose interview you won't find on YouTube anymore, but you will find rumbling around on a Voice of Freedom channel. If you, his property rather is, well, pretty much well inside the fire area. And he didn't have a care in the world. He's in Sydney at the moment, or north, celebrating with family for Christmas. He's got other people who were off their property, had been told by officials to get off their property. They went to his property, which is well set up, well protected, and he'll have crops still going. He'll have orchards still going, animals. He'll have everything, no problems when he gets back there. Because he is very well prepared. So we will see obviously how many of his neighbours were well prepared or not in the losses that have been incurred around that area. And I guess there's people out there today counting those losses. And those losses won't just be in property damage or houses or cars and tractors. It will be in livestock. And one of the big jobs today that farmers in that area will be doing, sadly, is driving around and putting a bullet through the head of livestock that have been burnt and are still alive. It's going to be a very sad day for people down in Western Victoria, the farming community particularly, so my thoughts go out to them. Folks, I hope you have a great Saturday. I've got to get into it, otherwise there'll be nothing left of it to get into. So I'm going to shoot off. Enjoy your day. There are some interesting bits and pieces that are popping up out of America. Apparently RFK has said that come January the 20th, all McDonald's are going to be closing. Don't know how well I believe that kind of thing, but yeah, there are certainly some interesting things going on in the world at the moment. I would take you back probably to October or maybe early November in a show I did there. When I talked to you about how they were going to, I think it was in October, how they were going to make sure that Trump never got into the presidency. Well, I think right now they are making moves to ensure that Trump doesn't get inaugurated. And they are going to try and do that on January the 6th. That will be the real coup, all right? That's going to be the real coup, not the one that happened in 2020. The real coup is going to happen inside the Congress on January the 6th, and Kamala Harris will be at the head of it. They are going to use a little-known, hardly, in fact, if ever, used section of the US Constitution to try and void Donald Trump's appointment as president. It is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, if you want to go and look it up. And in there it describes, and I'm paraphrasing, it describes how someone who has committed and been found guilty of a charge of incitement or something similar, and a few other bits and pieces, cannot run for public office or cannot hold a public office. And they are going to try and convince the Congress on January the 6th that that's exactly what Trump did. Now, of course, they tried to impeach him twice and failed. They've tried in numerous court cases to prove that he was inciting things and failed. And now those cases have actually been withdrawn completely because the DOJ knows which side of the bread to butter, so to speak. How would they prove that in the Congress on January the 6th? Well, the answer to that is Kamala Harris doesn't have to prove it, she just has to do it. And I have no doubt that Kamala Harris, in spite of all her other failings, has much bigger balls than Mike Pence ever had. Sadly. Because this is exactly what Mike Pence should have done when he had the opportunity in 2020 to question the vote, to question the electors. It's not the vote, it's the electoral college votes. Well, the same mechanisms will apply. It's a different story to get there. The way they're going to try and get Trump will be through Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. And I don't know, what do you think would happen if the most popularly elected president of all time, who won by a landslide, who won more blue states than any president practically in history, was on an engineered technicality not allowed to take up his position as president? Well, the prize goes to Robert for being first out. Civil war. I think that would be a very realistic assumption. I'm just reading your comment. Remember when the White House was stormed and the Congress ran to hidey holes? They left their laptops in the offices. I think Trump has more information than we think. Gay, I think you're 100% right. We've not heard a lot about the Nancy Pelosi laptop, but they also got Schiff's laptop. They got Lindsey Graham's laptop. Oh, they got all the Hydra heads' laptops. And yet, outwardly, we don't seem to be seeing anything. The only thing we are seeing is a very strange construction going up on the north lawns of the White House, which some people are trying to convince us is a media platform so they can film the president arriving at the White House, I presume on the day of inauguration. Something they would have a camera that can throw its pictures and audio wirelessly on the shoulder of somebody standing in a tuxedo on the steps of the White House, so they get really good close pictures of it, not ones that are, some hundreds of meters away. So there is something else going on at the White House that we're not being told about. There's a lot more going on, I think, than, we're certainly aware of a lot more. Project Bluebeam is going ahead in leaps and bounds. There seems to be a new UFO story every time I refresh a web page. So, keep an eye out on all that. Interestingly, I haven't heard or seen any reports of UFOs in Australia. Maybe we're not important enough. I don't know why we only supply the bulk of the world's nuclear power or the ability to produce that nuclear power. I'm talking about uranium. So, don't know why we're not. Well, maybe all uranium's in a very unpopulated part of the world. Maybe that's what they're interested in, and we don't see them for that reason. Surely they've got to come and have a look at the beaches, don't they? Just saying. Anyway, keep an eye out. I have been watching some international videos showing chemtrailing planes flying around, crossing the skies, One of them seemed to be following a very large orb, and I mean following it, only maybe a kilometre or so behind it. And when it changed direction, the jet changed direction. There are some weird things. Santa might be flying a different kind of sleigh. I wonder what he sprayed us with. And I know some of you will have some very dirty ideas about that, so stop now. Did I see the King's Christmas speech? No, Pete, I didn't. However, I probably should go and have a look at it just to see what sort of lies are being told. But apparently nobody, well, very few of the royal family turned up at wherever they hold their Christmases, at Balmoral or Sandringham. Charles invites, the extended royal family, 100 of them, for a Christmas lunch before Christmas, where William and Kate didn't turn up. Andrew wasn't invited, and I'm not sure whether or not the duchesses, oh, I beg your pardon, they're princesses, aren't they? Eugenie and Beatrice. Not sure if they stepped up for royal duties that day or not, but there is talk of Andrew moving to Abu Dhabi. There is any number of vacant palaces that he can go and live in for free. And he has a lot of friends in Abu Dhabi, apparently. So, yip-yahoo. Andrew might get to go and ride a camel. God knows he's ridden everything else in his life. Folks, go and enjoy your Saturday. I need to go out and rearrange and move a few things in a container, and maybe see if I can figure out how to work a spray gun, or if I'm actually strong enough to handle a spray gun. Enjoy your weekend. We will talk more maybe across it. I do owe you a few shows, so be safe, be happy, and well, you know about those dickheads. Steer clear. Bye.